Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's had a great day. I am so happy to be back home, so happy to see my wonderful wife, to see my kids and everything, and get back into back to life and back to reality. I thought I was going to be able to take it easy tomorrow before the onslaught of Dan Salio and Philly 500, but I've got to get back to the Red Brick House. Got a problem. I got to deal with some shit. I got a clogged up sewer line that I got to get taken care of. So I'll be getting up early and getting down there and doing that. So I only did the first half of the Rams-Steelers game, and it's been really a really ugly game. You would have thought it was the Cowboys in there playing because they are literally fumbling the ball left and right. It's just been ugly, boring game. But I guess it's better to have a boring, sad game than no game, because for us, this season's over. This season's over. So now I got everybody who's saying, who do you think's going to be the coach, man? Who's going to be the coach for the Cowboys? And I'm just sitting here in my mind saying, does it really matter? Does it really matter who you are bringing into this shitstorm? I hear people saying that the betting odds are bringing in Primetime and Sador. And I'm kind of like, you do have a contract for Dak Prescott. That's a $240 million contract, right? That's fully guaranteed. And he's got no trade clause, right? But okay, I hear what you're saying. Primetime had been on record before saying that he doesn't want to coach pros because, those guys being multi-millionaires, getting paid and not doing jack and everything else, that he's too old school to be able to put up with the bull jiggity of that situation. I hear people talking about Bill Parcells. Not Bill Parcells. Bill Belichick. And listening to Bill Belichick, or knowing how Bill Belichick likes control of everything, I don't know that that's going to work with Jerry Jones. That would require Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones to give up some of the responsibilities that they have that have been effed up. So I don't know how that works. Now here's what I'm going to say, a couple of things. Sometimes you don't grow up until you're forced to grow up. And I think Micah Parsons came to the Cowboys, and we were 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. He came out the box doing great things, and everybody loved him. He was the darling. So, that's where he started. Originally we had Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp wanting to have him on Undisputed and everything else. It was just, easy street. See, I will always say, you know who your real friends are when times are tough. There's this old song that when you got money, you got lots of friends. When you don't, they don't come around. And that's the truth. See, it's until you go through hard times, you don't learn to appreciate the good times. And see, for Micah Parsons, as a pro, he's never experienced bad times. He hasn't experienced people going after him, people blaming him for what's going on. And he's kind of learned the hard way that when you don't win, you don't get a pass. That people would rather tear your ass down than try and build you up and uplift you. And so I believe genuinely what he was saying last night was he's disappointed because Zach Martin may retire at the end of this year. And that he is a guy who has been an incredible player and mentor to him, and that it's a travesty that he can't hold up a Super Bowl. And he'll never get the opportunity again. The point he was making about Mike McCarthy, well, whether Mike McCarthy's here or not, is above my pay grade. And there's nothing I can do about that. But if he loses his job here, it's not like his body has worn out and failed him. Maybe his mind has. But physically, he would be able to coach elsewhere, as most of these guys do. And we know that coaches get retreaded. And I dare say, some people may look at it and say Mike McCarthy's an idiot. But if you're a team that hasn't had a 12-win season before, you might look at it and say, this guy's better than the bozos I've been having here. They'd be happy with a 12-win season, 3 years in a row. And so you looked at this as early in the season when we had 3 wins and we were looking like we were doing good. It was fun in games, okay? Oh, it's cool to bring in big play Slay and joke around and kid, and things. But then when things start going bad, now you get critiqued on everything you do. Now people are looking for some insight to your soul about how you really feel and will make assumptions about you. And you see how the tone and the tenor was today. I will say that last week was the first step in that evolution, because after getting all the blowback and the flack about Dak Prescott not putting him in the top 10, he ends up putting him in his top 5 of clutch quarterbacks in the end. And for those out there who hate Dak Prescott, I know you're not going to change your opinion on him. You're always going to say, we just need to get somebody else. But see, I remember when y'all were talking about, we need to tank for Tua. Screw this, we need to tank for Tua. Tua ain't won those Super Bowls. And Tua's been on a team that went out and got every weapon in the world to try and help him with. I remember people saying, tank for Trevor. We need to tank for Trevor Lawrence. And how's Trevor Lawrence doing right now? He got paid, but he certainly hasn't done anything more than Dak Prescott. Oh, I forgot. But he doesn't have the weapons that Dak Prescott has. Bro. Yesterday, I will say that Asim Richards held down left tackle better than Tyler Guyton did, your number 1 pick in the draft. Schoonmaker, who's your 2nd round pick, last year, I don't believe he's played the last 2 weeks. Mozzie gets a lot of flack, but believe it or not, Mozzie's got 20 tackles and 13 solos. I'm not going to say that he's a game changer, but he's not awful as people make him out to see. He's better than Dan Saleo was. What you realize, or you should realize, when you see Cooper Rush average 3.5 yards per pass play with the same guys that Dak Prescott had, and actually had better protection, and actually had a running game that was doing better than what Dak Prescott had. Rico had 50 yards on 10 carries. Bro, we had some games where we only got 56 yards. That was all for the first half. We've had games where we haven't had 56 yards running for the whole game. The offensive line was blocking better. You had some running ability. And yet, Cooper Rush had 13 receptions for 45 yards. 3.5 yards per reception. Less than you average on the ground. If it's not plain to see that the main reason why we were able to go 12-5 those years was because of Dak Prescott, not in spite of Dak Prescott. I know It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't. You're going to have your preconceived notions, and you're going to believe all the bullshit that you believe, and that's fine. It's not my place to convince you. I know how I feel, and I'm going to put out there how I feel. And it's up to you whether you believe it or don't. It's up to you whether you watch it or don't. But this team, as long as it's run as currently constructed with Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, this is all we're going to get. Maybe some decent years. But I'm sitting here tonight and I think about, I'm not a GM, I'm not a football expert, but I think about how many times I've talked about Calais Campbell. From the time he left Arizona, I said, get that guy. From the time he left Jacksonville, I said, get that guy. From the time he left Baltimore, I said, get that guy. And you know, I'm sitting here watching Calais Campbell tonight, who signed a $2 million deal. $2 million deal. It's almost a third of what we're paying Trey Lance, who was out there 2 sacks tonight on Matthew Stafford, a couple of pressures, a couple of tackles. I'm not going to say that Calais Campbell at this point in his career is going to win the Cowboys a Super Bowl, but if you put him on the defensive line tonight, he's better than anybody we have on our defensive line. Yet the Cowboys traded a 6th-round pick to get Jordan Phillips, who's no longer on the team. A Derrick Henry wants to be on your team, and you decide to bring Zeke back. A Bobby Wagner, who 3 years ago with Dan Quinn wanted to be a Cowboy. No, we can't do that. DeAndre Hopkins, 2 years ago, wanted to be a Cowboy. Do you think if you had gotten those pieces and not invested in those pieces, that we'd be a better team? I think we would. I think we would. But we're never going to know, are we? So, we still them boys. This season's over. People keep asking me, can we turn it around? No. No. Not this year. Can't stop the run, can't run the football, and you don't have a quarterback. But we've got the hype agent in Jerry Jones, who's telling you, I believe in those guys and we can turn it around. Yeah. There's that. Well, it's getting windy out here, and that's not a good thing because we've got definitely dry conditions here on the East Coast. This weather's crazy. Snowstorm in Vegas and wildfires on the East Coast. And we haven't had rain since the hurricane came through. It's crazy. Good people, hold your people tight and tell them how much you love them. I love you guys. God willing, I'll see you tomorrow.